beetles couldn't keep us away for too long. We've got Mr. Hosana in the distance, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live. Good morning, and I suppose it's better late than never, and I apologize, of course, on behalf of everybody for the gremlins that had hopped on aboard, but we seem to have the problem sorted out, and we are here with a spotted cat. Now, my name, of course, is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me is David, and it looks like it's Hosana doing what he loves to do, fish in a pan. But he's sitting off quite far away. He's not on our side. He's just across the boundary near Baboon Pan. You can see it's exceptionally far away. And he's been up and down, moving around. And I don't know if there was a terrapin or something around there, because at one point he was trying to flip it over. We couldn't really see very well. Sorry, you hear all those birds shouting? It sounded like there was some Natal spurfowls giving alarm calls, and I haven't even had a chance yet to check and see if Karula had crossed over into our traverse. We're still just having a listen. It could be another leopard that's maybe startled those birds, because now they've gone exceptionally quiet, as if they're trying to hide away. But I'm so happy. Well, at least we've got a very little spotted cat in the very, very far distance. Isn't this a great way to start your morning? I'm just listening. If I do go quiet, I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. And there's also another game drive vehicle. I was trying to get hold of the other guides on the radio, but I couldn't. They could not hear me. So luckily one is coming around, so I can point it out to them and let them know, and I'm sure that they will be filled with joy once they realize that there's a little cat here. And David and I were very lucky that we came past at the hour that we did. It was still very dark. And if it wasn't for the spotlight picking up the eye shine, we would never have seen this cat. You will drive straight past it, hiding away in the long grass. Now, we are on a live safari. James is going to be walking. Byron's also out and about. So please send your questions through #SafariLive. We'd absolutely love to hear from you if you do have any questions. And it's a fine morning. Hello. I'm just Oh, there we go. So what I'm going to do is I just need to for Mantuan Ingwe. There's a Mantuan Ingwe there on the other side of the pan. I can't Kaluma with you guys. My radio's not working. Go if I'm in there, you'll see on the other side of the Shigodo there's a There we go. Sorry, just very quickly telling one of the Chitwa rangers, like I said, unfortunately I didn't have comms with anybody. I'm stuck in a little dip, and I think it's interfering with the signal. But at least now he'll be able to tell the rest of his guides that there is indeed a leopard. And of course, we could lose this leopard at any time, because there are a lot of obstacles in the way and obstructions. There's also seems to be a slight bank, and if the leopard does go up and over the bank, I think we're going to lose sight of it completely. There we go. The tracker's just trying to spot the leopard. David, I don't know I think he's going to drive straight through our shot. Hang on. No, don't park there. Oh, no, there he goes. No, we completely... Please go around. Yay, there we go. Go, vehicle, go. Thank goodness. I thought we were going to lose our sighting there. I don't know, we might still... Yeah, thank goodness. Yay! At least we've still got a view of this cat. Fantastic. Now, I wish we could go around to that side as well. Wouldn't that be fantastic? But unfortunately, we're just going to have to sit here and hope that maybe the others are on our side. And we will at some point, because I suspect that there are going to be quite a few vehicles coming around here to have a look. And when they get too many, we will leave and we'll see if we can find something else. But our original plan this morning was actually to go to Cheetah Plains and have a look and see if the Cheetah brothers had perhaps come north over the Mala boundary. And then, of course, like I said in the pre-drive, I'm itching to see that Torchwood Pride. That will be so special for me. And a little leopard. Now hiding away in the long grass behind that log. And very curious, as you know, the nature of these young leopards is that anything will entertain them. Birds flying past, tortoises, terrapins, all of those types of things. We're going to see how long we can stay here for, and hopefully, Hosana does stay put. We're going to go across now to Byron so he can say good morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Byron, and with me on camera this morning is Rian. Now, it's great that Taylor managed to find that young leopard. I'm in an area where I just heard some kudu alarm calling, and I'm having a good look around to see if I can't find any sign of any predators. I did see hyena tracks walking along the road. Now, I wonder if perhaps the kudu didn't see the hyena, perhaps, and maybe just alarm called at them. They usually don't, but maybe they just saw him walking through the long grass. Had a look. It was only 2 alarm calls, so it wasn't a very serious alarm call. And the kudu give that wonderful bark at bow, bow, if they do see something. But I'm just having a look anyway. You never know, and we might find something. It's a beautiful, cool morning. So I'm hoping we get a lot of activity from the predators. Clear skies. It's a wonderful day. Really, really wonderful day. Or start of a wonderful day, it looks like it. And speaking of the hyena, actually had hyena around camp last night. One called, must have been about 3 a.m. this morning, but it sounded like a hyena was in my room. It was right outside. It was so close. An incredible whooping sound that whoo, whoo. I think I've lost my voice. Anyway, you get the that's it. A wonderful whooping sound of the hyena. Now, speaking of whooping, James is out this morning too. I think he's in the tent. Let's go say hello.
No, that is a complete and utter untruth. I'm not in the tent in the slightest. I am on foot with a herd of Impala. Here I am. And everybody, once again, an apology for our late start today. Technical glitches. And strangely, on a perfectly clear and glorious morning. My name is James Hendry. On camera today is Craig. Hello, Craig. Craig is nodding his greeting to you all, and Herbert, erstwhile Sangoma of yesterday afternoon's drive, quite a disturbing scene if you happen to watch it, very amusing indeed. He's knocking off over there, and with any luck he will be finding some tracks soon, and we'll follow those. In terms of what we're going to do today, well, we're going to first have a look at these Impalas. And once we've had a look at them, we will probably head towards the western sector to see if we can't pick up on some lion tracks. There were reports of vultures and seemingly some sort of dastardly murder perpetrated by the Nkuhuma Pride, unfortunately on Buffelshoek yesterday. But because there were vultures, it's definitely indicative that they killed some time back. And so perhaps they will come back this way today. Now, Craig, the Impala, there's a whole herd going to cross the road in front of us there. Just give them a second. They're doing a migration through the woodland. Or perhaps they're going to turn right instead of left. Very nice yellow brick wall there. That's brand new, of course, because it was built recently after our angry elephant pushed it over. So what I was saying about the Nkuhuma is probably still on Buffelshoek, probably in the processes of finishing whatever they've killed up there, hopefully coming back down south. We need them, of course, quite desperately because, well, we want to see the cats. So let's head straight back to our other cat, Hosana, with Taylor, and we will continue in our quest for things marvellous and magnificent.
So you can see that the leopard is now on the dam wall. Sorry guys, I'm live. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's change the plan. Thanks, Peter. Right, let's go. Apparently Karula's just on the... We need to... Safari races.
Where is she?
Have a look at these beautiful hornbills, everyone. Oh, yes. Yellow-billed hornbills, and they're busy displaying for us in the morning sun. Let's see if they do it again. Lovely, beautiful birds. This is such wonderful light on them now too. They are in a perfect position. That actually looked very cool, flying straight to us. Then it goes over our heads. It sounded like a Diedrich cuckoo calling. I can hear a Cokie Franklin calling. I can hear Steeling's wren warbler. A few different bird species. There are some other Franklins calling. Oh, everyone, Taylor's got Karula and Xongile on the road. Let's head to her.
No, I'm so sorry. I know we had to disappear very quickly. The gremlins are attacking hard, but this is a little gift to say that we are very sorry. It is Karula and her darling daughter Xongile obviously going to reunite. Oh, thank you, that was lovely. And go and collect their dear son, Hosana. Hello, girl. They're walking right past us. They've come from down the road. Look how relaxed they are. Karula, of course, just keeping an eye on us. Just keeping a little eye on us. We're going to try and revert it, so I apologize. Hold on. How long we're going to be able to stay with them for? We're going to have to sit just like this and watch them. Just because, unfortunately, there's a little patch that the signal is not. Try and follow them, and we'll let you see them as long as we can. Now, look at this. Xongile is using the luxury facilities. I might actually come and collect this, because with Panthera, they are always after and trying to collect scat of animals so they can do DNA sampling of the various leopards. So this is actually vital, and I don't know if they would have sort of obtained her scat just yet. So that's quite exciting, so that we can add Xongile to the leopard database of South Africa. But you watched Karula there. She was a little bit hesitant, and of course there's lots of vehicles. So, Kirst, we're going to try. I think we need to try and move, otherwise we're going to get stuck behind all of these vehicles. Should we risk it, Kirst? Just trying to find out if we should go. Try and get in front of the vehicles, but I'm worried that we're going to lose signal with you. So we're going to go across to James, who's on foot, and hopefully we'll have these leopards again in a moment.
Well, very exciting that those three cats have come back towards Djuma. Let's hope they stay here, and let's hope Taylor finds them and some signal. We've still got these Impala, and we were just discussing what to do, and we've begun our sort of walk towards the west. And then you came back to us, so we thought, well, let's show you the Impala again, because, well, they're rather spectacular. The morning is just perfect. It's nice and cool. It's not too hot. I think it's going to bring with it quite a nice hot day, but nothing too dire like the heat of last year. I think it's going to be a very pleasant day, and it's lovely to have the sun back out after that week of blustery, cold, grey, scudding clouds, which, of course, were very nice as well. But this is even better. There goes some Impala on the run. Oh, there's a great migration, Craig. And if you can hear their footfalls. Let's keep walking slowly. We take a nice deep breath. The smell of dew in the air, pollen off the grasses, the subtle hint of hemizygia, that coconut plant in the air. And here is an equally subtle smelling flower, the flower of Dichrostachys cinerea, or the Chinese lantern. There it is. And they have a lovely smell. It's what is it like? It's a bit like a sweet pea, I suppose, a bit like sweet pea smell, but it's very subtle. You only get it if you stick your nose right into it. And if you have some kind of pollen allergy, I would suggest quite strongly against it. You can see the pollen just starting to come out there. Marvellous. And in the background, of course, the ubiquitous Cape turtle dove or ring-necked dove going, "Proop, proop, proop, proop. Good morning, good morning." And extolling Byron to work harder and work harder until he has found the lions. There are Impala. Now that is pretty much as close, to my mind, to an idyllic scene as you can get. There are baby Impala around, and baby Impala are oft times devoured by hyenas. And Jamie, you're wondering if we see hyena here on foot. We do sometimes. They don't like us to be on foot. In fact, we had a sighting on foot today in the camp. A pilfering scavenger came into camp and tried to take the dustbin. We chased it out forthwith, and it's lurking somewhere around here. Now, Karula is back in sight with signal, with Taylor. Let's head straight back there.
We're sitting in the Mulwati now, but they are now going across back into Little Gari. And they lost Hosana, because Hosana went darting off over the dam wall, because there was some Impala alarming. And I wonder if they weren't alarming at Karula and Xongile. But sadly, I was hoping they were going to come towards us so that we could stay with them for a little bit longer. Peter's just shooting in front. Bye! And off they go. Everyone's very excited, and you can imagine how excited we are, because it's finally the return of the royal family. And even though it really is only going to be a brief view, unfortunately, at least we got to see them for just a little bit. And it was perfect timing. Everything happens for a reason. We could have missed Karula a little bit earlier, because we may have had to pull out of the sighting if some other guides had come through. But thankfully we got to watch them as they now walk along in the riverbed, which is one of their favorite places to go. And we're going to lose sight of them now, unfortunately. And I think that is the end for us. Here we go. Enjoy that, like I said, short and sweet. We're going to head across to Cheetah Plains now. At Xongile, Karula and Hosana. It's good to know that they are healthy and looking good, and I think Karula's come around to collect her little ones, and perhaps she's got a tasty treat. And I know it's not on our side of the traverse, but at least she's going to, of course, go and feed her beautiful cubs. But we've got quite a long journey to do now to get to Cheetah Plains, and hopefully we'll have something else for you when we eventually get there. But let's go across to Byron, and I don't know what his plans are this morning. Hopefully he stumbles across some evidence that the Nkuhumas have been around.
So no sign of the Nkuhumas just yet, Taylor. We're having a look around. I am looking for them this morning. I've come to the northern boundary to have a good look to see if we find any tracks of them coming through. Perhaps maybe they've returned. And I wonder if Karula has got a kill for those little cubs. It would be wonderful, nice for them to have some food again. She's such a successful female leopard, isn't she? She's done so well in raising so many leopard cubs, and a very, very successful hunter. Now I'm going to look very carefully along the northern break here to see if we do see signs of the Nkuhuma pride possibly crossing. Not sure where they've been. I don't think they were seen yesterday or the day before. I think they're on Biffle's Hook somewhere just north of us. And now while I check this boundary, let's head back to James. He's still walking around, and I think he's doing some.
that is the call of the chin-spot Batis. And the chin-spot Batis is in great abundance around here. There's a couple in the tree you're looking at. There were another two chasing each other around over our heads recently. There, you heard one going. Sounds nothing like 3 blind mice. Trying to think of a song that sounds like, but I can't. It's a lovely sound of the chin-spot Batis. But it's definitely not. No chin-spot Batis has ever sung 3 blind mice before. Let's just see if we can get a little bit closer. Now, the chin-spot Batis, it's an unusually named bird because it's the only bird that I know of that derives its name from the female. She is the only one with the chin spot. The others, the male has no chin spot. And most birds, of course, are named for the male because he's generally the more attractive. Unlike in human beings, obviously. Yeah, he's still up there. And what he's looking for, I suspect, he's an insect eater, and this Ziziphus bush has come into fruit, and I suspect that the chin-spot Batis is scouring the leaves off tips of the fruits for any insects that might be eating them. He's at the back here, Craig, I'll show you. There he is. You got them there. There's still 2 of them in here. That's the female lower down, the male a little bit higher up. There are lots of birds going ballistic around here. There's a whole bird sort of frenzing feeding party. Let's go around this side, Craig. We might be a little bit luckier. There. Right there. How cool is that? Now, while you look at that, I'm going to try and identify the bird that's just landed here. He's on the bottom. There he is. You see him there? Just on that. Yeah, I think you had him in frame. Oh, Craig, quickly, sorry. Let's leave him. There's a female black cuckoo shrike here. There. Did you see the bird there? That yellowish black bird there? You see it just moving there. We come this way. Oh, there it goes, there it is. Just in the bottom of that horizontal branch there. Did you get it? It's flown a mile away. But you got it though, well done. That's it's a female black cuckoo shrike, and the male is completely black. There's a Batis eating a caterpillar now. You see it there on that. Is going to bring out all sorts of insects and things, and therefore there will be lots of little bird feeding parties is what I've been going for. No, Michael, I'm not. You're wondering about the white-crowned shrike's nest that I found that was fallen on the floor. You're saying, are we anywhere near that? No, we're not anywhere near that. That's on Central Road, which is a long way sort of behind us. We went there yesterday, and I'm afraid all of those chicks have gone. I'm sure they've been eaten by something. And while I'm sure many of you would have liked us to rescue 1 or 2 of them, that of course would have deprived the predators that ate them of a meal. And of course they're allowed to have a meal, aren't they, the predators? I was quite sad about that. For those of you who didn't see it, during the course of that really hard wind, very unseasonal and very unusual wind that we had over the last few days, the sort of dead and hollowed branch of a knobthorn tree broke off, and in it there was a wonderful little beautifully constructed nest of the white-crowned shrike. Fell to the ground with 4 chicks in it. 2 of them stayed in the nest, 2 of them fell out onto the ground, and the adults were still around and I'm sure still feeding the chicks, but eventually I think they were eaten by a predator of some sort, probably a genet, maybe a snake, could have been an African wildcat, something like that. So I'm afraid they are gone now, their mortal coil shaken off, it wasn't a very long one. They're the Impala. They're kind of walking parallel with us. And Justin, you say that chin spot Batis was 89 on your bird list. I'm assuming, therefore, that the black cuckoo shrike was number 90. Impala sort of walking parallel with us, which is quite fun. We are just walking up the road here at the moment. We're going to cut off towards the west sometime soon. But there's just quite a lot going on in this clearing over here, so it might be quite nice to just keep watching. And lots of birds around. Let's go in through here. Dan, I like this question because, of course, it brings with it the potential for huge comedy. You say, what is the most unintelligent animal here in the bush? Well, Dan, as I said yesterday, I think, what was it? It was some question in relation to the most, it wasn't unintelligent, it wasn't intelligent, it was dangerous, perhaps, animal in the bush, and I described Byron as the most dangerous animal in the bush. And, well, you know, when you come to the most unintelligent animal in the bush, I'm struggling to come up with a better answer than that, actually. That, of course, is untrue. Byron's very clever, but I'm just imagining his face now as Kirsten relays that I described him. Oh, the most unusual-looking animal in the bush. That was Byron yesterday. Anyway, the most unintelligent... Well, you see, intelligence is a wonderful discussion, isn't it? Because all the animals out here are plenty intelligent for what they have to be. There's a drongo sitting on the top of that little tree there. Drongo, highly intelligent bird by human standards, because it's able to sort of problem solve in a little bit like a crow can problem solve. But I suppose from a human point of view, the most unintelligent mammal in the bush must be something, I guess, like a lion. Now, I've spoken to and driven, when I was a guide, big cat trainers who will tell you that lions, there's the drongo there, that lions are the most gormless creatures in the world because they're almost impossible to train. And if we think about dogs that we describe as dim-witted, no, he's gone now. There's another one, there's a red-backed shrike. You see the red-backed shrike? When we talk about dim-witted dogs, it's dogs that are untrainable, but that doesn't make them necessarily dim-witted. It just means that they're unable to sort of process information in the same way that a human being does. So although a lion might be completely untrainable, have you got it there, Craig?
Yeah.
Might be completely untrainable, that doesn't make it unintelligent, of course, because they're highly intelligent and plenty intelligent enough for what they do. That is a red-backed shrike. It's a very scruffy red-backed shrike. It's not bothered to groom itself this morning before appearing on television. Very unkind of it. So, Dan, I don't know what the animal that I find the most gormless. I'm trying to think. I think it would probably be, because I definitely have described animals as gormless. For me, it's lions. Lions, for me, display all those characteristics that one would associate with sort of gormlessness. The quite happiness to lie in their own dung, to beat each other up when they're supposed to be supporting each other, that sort of thing. So I'm going to go with lions. Let's head across to Byron, who is not the most unintelligent person in the bush. Indeed, he might be considered part of the top echelon.
James is funny again this morning, as always. Now, we've been searching this northern break. I've had no sign of lions crossing in or out yet, but I'm still having a good look. I'm trying to think what I think the most unintelligent animal is out here. I must admit, lions, James, I think I kind of agree with you a little bit there with the lions. Trying to think what else. I'm just going to look here quickly. sun is very bright this morning. Alright, so just go through that little dip. I know sometimes, and it is hard, we know more or less where the bad signal patches are, but we obviously got to still drive around, so we do lose you sometimes. I'm still trying to think what I think the most unintelligent animal is out here. I don't know. You know, I think all animals are intelligent, or rather they're as intelligent as they need to be, if that makes sense, because every animal's different. They all fill a different niche. They all have a different role to play in nature, and every animal plays that role to the best of its ability. So I don't know if I don't know. I wouldn't say buffalo. Buffalo, you know, they quite aggressive or can be potentially aggressive if they feel threatened. They're very powerful animals, and if you are stalking a buffalo or trying to follow a buffalo, sometimes what they do is they'll walk and then they'll go and they'll do a loop, and they'll come back to the path that they were on, and they'll wait for you, and if you come past, they'll sometimes come out the bush. That's a bit of a theory. I don't know if they do it all the time, but buffalo, I know for a fact, will come back and look for you if they've seen you. So it won't be them. A hippopotamus, I think. That would be my answer. Hippopotamus. Just lay about in the water all day, and all they need to do is get out and go and eat grass, and then they head back to the water. I don't know how intelligent you have to be for that. That would be my guess. A lot of people say the wildebeest are the most unintelligent animals out here, but I tend to disagree with that. I think the wildebeest, and a lot of the time the people say that because they run in circles and they're constantly running around, but I don't think they're unintelligent at all. I think it's a misconception of wildebeest. I thought I saw a little bird just flying. Some arrow-marked babblers just flying off. There they go. Let's see if you can see them. They just flew off. Those little babblers will probably feed on little seeds and perhaps even some insects. And speaking about insects, James has got one that he'd like to show you.
Yet again, one must complain. My colleagues need to give a Hamlet soliloquy in their attempt to link to us. There is a dipterid there, a fly, that Craig has been patiently lying in the wet grass filming. Can you still see it, Craig? Come over here. I'm going to go this side because otherwise I'm going to get in your light. It's one of these hovering flies, and it's this most gorgeous colour. Look at that. I believe Craig to be the first cameraman in history to ever film one of these things successfully. Just hope Gendre is watching in jealousy. Isn't that astounding? Now, many of you will have seen these things. They fly around the place, but they hover with incredible accuracy. Now, if you look at the front of that little fly, you can see its spiky proboscis. And that spiky proboscis is used for nectar feeding, but the fly often doesn't land to feed, so much like a hummingbird will hover next to its food and stick its beak into the nectar, it hovers with such incredible accuracy that it's able to probe into the plant without moving around in the air, and these flies are able to do the same thing. They look like clockwork machines when they're moving. They move with such unbelievable accuracy and precision. You're right there, Craig. You're making a couple of sighing noises as if the strain of leaning over in your current position is creating some kind of muscular spasm, which I imagine it is. But that is the trouble of your job, you see, not mine. I am very comfortable here. Oh, there he goes. Oh, look where he's landed. Can you see him there? He's on the Waltheria leaf. There you go. Isn't that wonderful? Now, just to give you an idea, Craig is currently on his knees, leant over, attempting to maintain his balance with an enormous pack on his back. He's doing a very good job, and quite astoundingly, we've got full beautiful signal, and the aerial is pointed horizontal. That is very unusual. Such is the skill of our friend Craig, the Maltese falcon. Now we have something else over here, which I think is even more interesting. It's nothing like as beautiful. It was found by Herbert. Herbert, where is it? Oh, yes. Right. Now come down over here, Craig. You don't need to be... In fact, let me pick it up for you because it'll probably be a little bit easier that way. No, I'm not going to pick it up. It's disgusting. Come, you can just sit quietly. It's not going to move. What we have here, next to my stick, is a carrion beetle. And this carrion beetle is pretending to be dead. It is very much alive. When Herbert found it, it was alive. And you may notice that it is not sitting next to a stone, but a hoof. A hoof of a long dead animal, probably a wildebeest, it looks like to me, and it's eating the keratin. And if I run my finger, can you see here, Craig, where my finger is? If I run my finger along there, that's where it's been feeding. You can see it's been eating the keratin off the hoof. Now, to every single mammal in history, including the hyena, that is totally indigestible. And yet nature has created, well, through the process of evolution, of course, something that is able to exploit that trophic niche, something that is able to eat this food that nobody else is, and that, of course, is this carrion beetle who is currently pretending to be dead on account of the fact that it saw Herbert and became deeply afraid, and then lay on its back and folded its legs up. And that looks, you see, you may see it twitching now. It looks, when it was pretending to be dead, just like a beetle might if it was dead and it had its inside sucked out. So it looks like just the exoskeleton, but it is in fact very much alive. Good. Right, we haven't moved very far, I must confess. We've only come sort of 150 meters or 450 feet or so from where we first began. Now, we're going to head across to Byron, who's managed to find something other than the road stretching in front of him. He's found a very smelly antelope.
Well, it's funny you say smelly, James, but they are actually, they do have a pungent smell. And this is the Waterbuck. That's a lovely male, just gazing at us through the trees. There were one or two females. They've just moved a little bit further left and down towards the drainage line. And I can also hear ground hornbills in the distance. Something like that. A few of them calling it. It's a wonderful sound to hear in the bush. The sun is warming things up beautifully now. And it makes me think of the question we got yesterday. Have we ever fallen asleep in a sighting? No, but if this carries on with this wonderful warm sun on our faces, we might just. Nice to see this Waterbuck. But they do have quite an oily skin and oily coat, and I think that's what gives them that pungent smell. You can often, if you're driving along and waterbuck run across the road in front of you, you can smell them immediately. They do have a strong smell. I don't know what the best way to describe the smell is. A wet, not quite a wet dog smell. Slightly off wet dog / Chanel number 5, maybe not. I'm not sure. No, it's not that mixture, but it does. There is a very strong pungent smell to them, and but nice to see them. They probably come from Buffelshoek Dam. Now we know Waterbuck get their name Waterbuck because they're so reliant on water, and they do hang around big dams, waters, rivers fairly regularly. All right, let us continue. I'm not far from the dam. Let's go have a look there quickly and see what we can find, if there is anything around there. While I do that, Taylor's on Cheetah Plains and she's got a bird she'd like to show you.
Listen very carefully. That's so cool. This is a red-crested Korhaan we are looking at. And I cannot believe it hasn't run away yet because we're relatively close to it. And he's calling his heart out, hoping that a female is going to respond so then he can do his beautiful display, which I've never seen before. And I'm waiting for that day until I see it. Only just the other day I actually saw them, how they fly up high into the sky. Here we go. He's going to do it again. This is amazing. Look at his little tongue. Did you see his tongue, how it pokes out of his mouth? That was really incredible. Not just to get it once, but to get it twice now is very special. And I'm sure that you've been noticing is that the birds out here are not just equipped with beautiful singing voices, but like he's doing again now, they use their bills to make these loud sort of not clapping noises, but bill clattering. He's doing that by opening and closing his bill. And then a woodpecker, especially, sorry, I'm just listening to it. It's incredible. And then you get the bearded woodpeckers that of course bang their bills on the side of trees and make their territorial call. And I wonder if there isn't perhaps a female around here that he's maybe trying to court. He's very, very excited, as you can see. And it's possible that maybe he has spotted a female off into the distance, or maybe he heard one, and now he's trying to draw her attention and come closer. I've never seen them do this call so many times in a row. And it's hard, though, because often the females will just sit down in the long grass, and then they become completely camouflaged. I couldn't even begin to tell you if there is one around here. If there is, she's doing a very, very good job, of course, at hiding. And I'm not going to move. I'm going to stay put because I don't want to disturb him. He's found himself a good spot and he's so comfortable with us. This does not happen every day, where the Korhaans or the black-bellied bustards stay so close to the vehicle. This is a very, very special moment. There's actually another one calling in the far distance, another male. So that could be it. I only just heard the other male responding very, very far away. So perhaps there's not a female around, but maybe he's doing a territorial call. And he's announcing to the rest of the red-crested Korhaans that this area is taken. There's no space for a second one. And that would explain why he's doing it so often as well, and so aggressively. There we go. That's a much better view now that he doesn't have any grasses in front of his face. Hey, David. But what a beautiful morning. That is absolutely incredible. Look how big their eyes are. I love safaris because every day is different. We spent such a short amount of time with those leopards, of course, not by choice. They disappeared. And then we get to sit for ages and ages with birds. This is just the best job in the world. It really is the best job. Oh, come back so we can see your face. And how was that? Once he'd finished sort of clattering his bill together, I love the noise, that sort of clicking noise that comes from the throat, as well as, of course, that sort of, well, the main call, that I can't do it. Nope, that's terrible. I need to practice that one a little bit more. But I said that I noticed how big their eyes are, and that's something actually I've only just realized. They must have incredible vision. I mean, you look at birds and you look at drongos and things, they don't have particularly massive eyes. And as I said, that I can hear one calling above us. And he was following this red-crested Korhaan around, because as he was doing his call, he was moving at one point and disturbing a lot of insects. And the drongo was taking full advantage of it and swooping down and catching them. So it doesn't just have to be a mammal that a drongo will follow around. They'll use other birds to assist with their feeding habits. This is the first time I think we've sat with a red-crested Korhaan, for me of course. Where a bird has called so many times. How many times is that now? That must be 4 or 5. Well, we saw it once before I got to show you. We actually got to see him do it once as well. So we must be on about 5 or 6 now. And I haven't heard the other male responding. It's obviously kept him quiet. So obviously this one has got the louder voice and has put the other one to shame now. And he must be hiding away, or just sitting quietly, licking his wounds. This is absolutely incredible. Look at you never see them sitting still. Look at the colors on their feathers. The beautiful black on the breast, and then those white feathers. And then, of course, the brown that gives them that camouflage, and their legs are quite white as well. They've got the most divine coloration. Now, Michael, good morning to you, wondering if the females make the same call. I've never heard the females make the call before. Typically, it'll just be the males, and especially at this time of the year, you're hearing all the boys doing all the calling, and then the females will respond to that. Normally, when she finds him, and she's attracted by the sound of his voice, she'll just sit quietly. Like I said, I haven't had too much experience, but from everything that I've read, and I've seen female red-crested Korhaans before. They didn't make any particular noises. And that's why the boys sing, is that they sing like this so that everybody around them can hear them, and then the females can choose which ones they want, and then they will go closer. So it's not the boys that are sort of actively going out, because we see them. They have these little territories that they live in. So it's the females that come to them. It's very much like with the frogs. Remember with the bullfrogs? We saw all the bullfrogs sitting in the water, giving out their big blop, blop. My voice is not on form today. And they normally do that, and then the girls, they choose which sound they like the best, and then they approach the males. It's very, very similar in this case. I don't know if you saw that shadow of the bird's head, and he sort of ducked a little bit. There was a very small raptor of some sort that flew over the top, and he got a bit of a fright. Hello, boy. Now, Lauren, you're wondering if it hurts his beak when he sort of claps his mouth. He does that all the time. I don't think so. I think it's like clapping your hands together. I don't think there's too many nerves and things in that beak. It's not probing, so it's not like a hardy-dar or an wood hoopoo or an African hoopoo that have got these sensory nerves in their bills. So no, I don't think that it will bother them too much. I think that it'll be very much, well, exactly like clapping your hands. And I don't think he needs to do it very hard. It doesn't look like he's doing too much, putting too much effort in. It's amazing. Instruments. And now that clicking sound. You are just putting on an absolute show, aren't you? Hello. And also still just keeping a close eye on us. Every now and then you'll see he'll look our way as well. Just time for a preen, just in case somebody does respond. You got to look your best. And as he does that, remember we've spoken quite a bit about them rehooking the hooks on their feathers. X-Rangy, good morning. You were saying you wonder what the perfect call is. What is the difference sort of between the males' calls? I'm not sure. I like this one. He's got me mesmerized. But it'd be interesting. Oh, hang on. Did you hear that, David?
Yep.
It was very far away, but sort of straight south towards the big open plains. It sounded like a distress call of some sort. It also could have been an elephant, though, because, you know, elephants can make strange noises, especially if it's a young teenager throwing a tantrum. But I think we're going to actually head over to that side. I think we need to race there. What do you think, David?
Yes,
Right. We're going to try and get around without disturbing this bird, of course, but I'd love to go and follow up on the alarm call. And now this bird is in a bit of trouble. I've just heard the other male calling in the distance. He's not sitting quietly anymore. We'll let the two of them battle it out, but I hope you all enjoyed that. So let's go across to James now and see what other little creepy crawlies he's managed to find.
I have not a creepy crawly, but I have got the tracks of a very large elephant, and there is the extent of his track. Substantial foot. Now we are on the road, which of course is the most risk thing, and we think they're fresh. I'll tell you why we think they're fresh. If we carry on walking a little bit here. Now, one vehicle has driven over the top of them, but I mean, that's not to say they can't be fresh, because, you know, obviously vehicles do drive around here very early in the morning. You can see that it is much lifted. The track is beautifully kind of molded into the soil here. Now that only happens if there's a certain amount of moisture in it, and that moisture of course only persists with a little bit of dew. So the dew on top of the soil here has created this beautiful mold of the underside of the elephant's foot. And I suppose, unsurprisingly, an elephant's foot can be used as a fingerprint, so it would be very easy if we knew this elephant bull, and if we had pictures of him from before, we could tell exactly who he was. And I say unsurprising because people often use the term, they say, Isn't it amazing that all zebras have got completely unique stripes, and that the underside of elephants' feet are unique to each elephant? And I always think, but that's really not that amazing. It would be far more amazing if the underside of every single elephant on planet Earth, or of the underside of every foot of every elephant on planet Earth, was exactly the same, or if the stripes on every zebra were exactly the same. I always think to myself, well, that would be much more amazing than if they were all not slightly different, because every individual in the world, of course, is slightly different unless they are a clone. So we're going to continue up here, and then the other thing we're hoping to find, 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago? Yes, it must have been 2 days ago. We found a milkweed, and the milkweed is unusual here, and it is the favoured food, of course, of the African monarch and of all monarchs around the world. That is a butterfly, and there were no larvae on it yet, but I'm pretty sure that sometime during the course of the season we will be finding some larvae there. So that is on the roadside, not too far up from here, and we'll see if we can't find it there. In the meantime, however, we're just enjoying the wonder of this morning. Claire, I have been wondering exactly the same thing, actually. You say, where are the golden orb-web spiders? Now, if I ask Craig to just wander in here with me, the golden orb-web spiders should be strewn about the place. It's January now, it's halfway through January. I imagine they're still to come, perhaps. But, you know, in a normal wet year, so let's pretend that this was a wet year after another wet year, or after another normal year, as opposed to a wet year after a drought, you would expect just about every single gap between two trees to be strung with the glimmering gossamer golden webs of the golden orb-web spider. But we don't have any of them yet, and I was thinking exactly the same thing just yesterday, Claire. So, I mean, there are spiders, make no mistake. I can see, if we look through here, you might be able to get this, Craig, I don't know. But there's a whole lot of backlit silk that's been strung between all the branches of this dead gardenia tree. Can you see any of that at all? You might just be able to see a little bit of glimmering gossamer there. But it is not common. And I do find it very strange, Claire, so we will keep an eye out for the golden orb-web spiders, because I just don't understand why there shouldn't be any around here. Let us continue up here towards our Asclepias, or milkweed, which is somewhere on the roadside here. Now, roadsides, if you do happen to be interested in flowers and herbs and that sort of thing, well, roadsides are fantastic for flowers and herbs, simply because they are disturbed, and in disturbed sites you often find herbs and things that grow that wouldn't grow normally, say, in grassy fields, meadows, or what we would term here clearings. I don't think we have meadows in Africa. For some reason here we have grasslands, we don't have meadows. Alright, we're going to quickly try and find that milkweed, and while we do that, I believe the cubs are having a marvellous time and wish to spend that time with you.
I do indeed. Now, Taylor saw Karula and her two cubs earlier, and they just crossed south over our boundary, but they're back, everyone. They've crossed back north, and listen, it sounds like Karula's calling them. Looked like she was just giving a little contact call there. Oh, I haven't seen her for a few days, actually for quite some time. Seen the little ones, but not her, so it's lovely to see her again. Let's see, I think it was little Xongile, that the young female cub who moved down to the water's edge. We'll try to get a view of her shortly, and then I think the young male is just off, basically in the direction that Karula is looking at the moment. So we'll see, we'll spend some time here with them and see what they get up to. We'll move around shortly. I'm just waiting. There are some other people in the sighting too. Oh, look at that. Oh, fantastic. Look how playful they are. Oh, that is wonderful. Oh, this is special, everyone. Isn't this amazing? Now, young leopard cubs are very playful with their mothers, or with each other too. So it's wonderful to see the interaction. Look at her cleaning the cub. See something very, very interesting. How these leopards can be so affectionate towards each other, even though they are solitary animals. But with these young cubs, obviously, and all this playfulness, chasing, stalking, pouncing on each other, it's basically teaching them for later on when they need to hunt. I know all of you saying that this is very special, and it is indeed. It's a little female that just moved off away again. And again, I think for photographers, this would be just an amazing sighting. We've got beautiful morning light, and especially with leopards with that golden coat. You don't have to do anything to the light settings. You can just snap away and you'll probably get wonderful photographs with natural light. Now, Zaz, you asked, do I think the female leopard would feel sad if her cubs move off? And I don't think so. I think we also need to be very careful that we don't give these animals too many human emotions. You know, sometimes we anthropomorphize them a little bit too much, I think. I mean, in my experience viewing leopards, and I've been very fortunate in viewing leopards for many years, the females actually chase the cubs off. It's not really a case of them, the cubs just leaving. The female leopards eventually start growling and snarling, and they push the cubs out, basically saying to them, look, it's time that you need to move off now and become independent. So I don't think sadness would be the right way to describe it. Have a look. Comes one of the cubs. It looks like the little female again, Xongile. Oh yes. Doesn't that look amazing? This is such a special sighting. I see Karula cleaning and biting the ears there. Now, the other day we saw Hosana had little ticks on his face. James saw it, I believe. And see all this cleaning that she's doing now. That's her trying to get rid of some of the ticks and fleas on the young leopard cub. We know they've got very rough tongues, so they're able to clean very well with them. Almost like little barbs on their tongue, little hairs. It's very rough, not as rough as a lion tongue, but rough enough that it will definitely clean that young cub very well. It really is a magnificent morning here. A lot of birds calling in the distance. You might be able to hear a lot of doves. Also red-chested cuckoo, rattling cisticulars. It's still a very cool morning, and that's why these leopards are still out and very active and moving around. I think because the temperature is perfect. Now I'm going to spend some time with them because I'm hoping they get more active. Maybe little Hosana comes and joins. Let's just see where Xongile goes quickly. She's moving off. Possibly going to have a look what the brother has got. I'm not sure. I think they're just on the other side of that vehicle somewhere. But as I said, we're going to stick around, see what they get up to. We will keep you updated. But let's head back to James, who's got something creepy and crawly he'd like to show you.
Now, this is where we normally sit looking for the African migrants larvae, and we found the larvae of something else, and I don't know what it is, but it's sitting on the senna, or what's the monkey pod tree, that's right, Senna patisiana, or the monkey pod, and you can see him there. Beautiful lime green with the lovely hair, little mane on the front, and some black stripes, and eating away at the senna. Now, I said the other day when we found a senna tree full of African migrant caterpillars, I said that there's definitely some kind of chemical compound in here that makes them unattractive to predators. And I'm definitely convinced that that is the case here, especially as that there are more than just one species of larva that likes to eat the senna. That's the one, and here is the other. Here's the African migrant. It's so beautifully camouflaged. You get it some light. You see the light reflecting off it there? Is that fine? Now I've lost my earpiece, so you can't ask a question right now. I'm now sitting at a quite jaunty angle. Okay. Right. Now, Stefan always says that it's quite safe to eat green caterpillars. I'm not going to eat this one, especially as it's sitting on this senna tree. Now, we did find the milkweed over here, and it's starting to flower, but I don't think that there are any monarch larvae on it. Whoops. So here is the milkweed. It's exactly the same milkweed as I showed you 2 afternoons back, except I don't remember seeing the flower on it. Now, you will find a species of milkweed just about anywhere in the world, and I imagine the monarchs of North America... Ooh, there's something else here, but I'll show that to you now. I imagine the monarchs of North America eat a similar kind of milkweed, but I don't think it's exactly the same one. And if I pull a leaf off, you can see the milky latex there, and that milky latex is what gives this thing its toxicity, and it's a cardioglycoside that I believe causes heart palpitations and can possibly cause even a heart attack in sufficient quantities. So you wouldn't want to eat these, but they can be used in small doses to restart the heart that has stopped beating. Now, Craig, over here, a dastard creature, probably looks better there log than it does on my finger, but there we have a tick. You see? Oh, now it is on my finger. No, now it is on the soil. You see it there?
Yeah.
Now, ticks, of course, not particularly popular around the world because they're basically just conferrers of disease, and in this case for human beings they give you something called tick bite fever. Out here, let me just move him into the light. Tick bite fever, and tick bite fever, well, it's not a dire disease. You can pretty much cure yourself easily with it, with a few, I think it's a course of doxycyclines they give you, which is antibiotics. Much less severe, for example, than the Lyme's disease that I think you get in North America as a result of tick bites. He doesn't want to bite me. Obviously, he's quite afraid of me, which is a good thing, because I would think nothing of taking his life. That, and the mosquito and the flies, of course, I would think nothing of murdering. But I won't do that live. Now, the tick is an arachnid, or arachnid in common English, and it's most closely related, of course, to the mites and the spiders that we get out here. And its job is basically, I suppose, to keep populations down. But I'm not sure that you can describe that as a job so much as a way of living that is not necessarily beneficial to anyone else. Yes, that's a debate for another time. Right, we're going to continue along here. Herbert has managed to find something else. He's a genius, man.